I grew up in Lake Ann in Benzie County. I went to elementary school at Platte River. I graduated from Benzie Central High School in 2002.
And so what are you currently doing, and what made you decide to run for probate judge?
Yeah, so currently I'm the assistant prosecutor here at Benzie County. I've been doing that for almost 3 years. I'm going to have to explain what probate judge is.
Yes,
in Benzie
please.
County because so probate judge isn't just your standard traditional for Benzie County. Anyways, estate planning, mental health, petitions, guardian conservators. That's traditionally where you would see a probate judge work. But Benzie County is very unique, and the probate judge is also our district judge, which is an assignment through our circuit judge, Judge Thompson, assigns work for the probate judge as far as district work. So that's your misdemeanor criminal stuff. And so I say all of that because the probate judge also gets assigned to some family law stuff as well. Sorry, I forgot that piece. But I say all of that because as a prosecutor in Benzie County, I've done all of the neglect and abuse for the last few years cases, which the probate judge is assigned to those family law division cases. I've also done criminal trials as far as misdemeanors and felony trials. And so, again, the probate judge would be the district judge for those preliminary exams for felonies up until that point, and then all the misdemeanor trials and whatnot. And then also, we do, when asked by APS, Adult Protective Services, we work on the side for mental health petitions and guardians and conservatorships as well. And I've really done a lot of that stuff. So I've touched on a lot of those areas in our community while working as the assistant prosecutor. One of the reasons I wanted to start pursuing probate judge is because I feel like there's a little bit of a change that could be helpful, connecting with our community mental health services. I think that there's just some new blood in here that could help revive some of these things and make sure our community is getting as much benefit from the judicial branches as it can.
Great. And what are some of the biggest challenges you think you face in probate court, particularly in a smaller community like Benzie County, which I imagine is why the probate judge is also assigned other responsibilities, right, because of the size of the county?
But again, resources is always difficult. We don't have a huge, giant budget to always, facilitate all of them, drug evaluations or other things like that. And so that can be hard on our community members and whatnot. But what I know specifically for probate, though, is it's becoming more and more difficult to find guardians and conservators for these people. And so we have to kind of go outside of the county and look for different guardian conservators for those people that need them. I personally think I have a good ability to make connections throughout the community and other communities to help maybe get some of those resources as much as we can through the state grant systems, or just reaching out to different bigger counties and see how they facilitate these issues as well.
So are you advocating for any reforms or initiatives to improve the probate court process?
Yeah, so one of the things I'd like to bring back to the court is the sobriety court aspect that Benzie County had under Judge Kita and no longer does have. Now, again, Manistee and Benzie are connected to closely as the same circuit, and Manistee currently has a sobriety court, and it does great things. But right now, well, I don't know about right now, but the last I checked, 8 of the 15 slots were people from Benzie County having to go down to Manistee and go to that sobriety court. So I'd like to bring that back to Benzie County and help people minimize the amount of travel that they'll have to do, especially with somebody. A lot of these sobriety courts are designed for people that have drunk drivings, and so they're losing their licenses, and so it's very difficult for them to to get to different places, obviously.
So people who had a DUI or something here in Benzie County would actually have to go to Manistee at this point in time to be processed if it got to that point?
Well, so not necessarily. So yes, sobriety court is a specialty court, and so if you get a DUI in Benzie County, or an OWI, you're gonna be in Benzie County. But if you want to be a part of the specialty sobriety court in Manistee, yes, you will have to go down there and be there in person. Now, they have tried to help facilitate some of the, testing and things in our county, which is nice, but it's the travel and the cumbersomeness of having to take work off and things like that to go down to these specialty courts, because they meet about twice a month, and that can vary from specialty court to specialty court. And there's a vetting system. It's not these sobriety courts are not for everyone. There's a team of professionals that would be put together, and we look at each individual and say, okay, this person seems like they're very serious about their sobriety, and they want. So I think the more opportunity people in our community have to be a part of these sobriety courts, it is a real benefit.
So Currently, what cases come before a probate judge most frequently, would you say, here in Benzie County? What is the majority of the work?
So the majority of the probate, again, I'm gonna separate the two. So the probate court, as a probate judge in the probate court, you would see what I think you would see mostly is a lot of guardian conservatorships, and then probably tiered down is your mental health petitions, and that fluctuates quite a bit. Just kind of depends on the time, and then. So I would say that's the majority of the cases there in the probate system. Now, the majority of the cases in your district court, which again is under the probate judge as well, you're going to get your standard, honestly, DUIs is OWIs is what they're called in Michigan. It is one of the things that you see a lot in the district level. The other things we see are I've seen an uptick as an assistant prosecutor in domestic violence too. Those two right there are probably a majority of our caseload currently. And almost inevitably, obviously the OWIs are connected with alcohol, but the domestic violence stuff is connected to alcohol too, almost always. And so, again, that's one of the reasons I'd really like to push for bringing the sobriety court and get these individuals maybe the help and structure they need to get back on their feet or get better ideas and whatnot. And again, sobriety court isn't the only court that I would push for. I would love to have a mental health court as a specialty court, but we got to take these things one step at a time, I would say. And, you got to get funding and things like that.
Looking back to the probate side of things a little bit, what advice would you give to individuals or families that are preparing to navigate the probate court process to kind of help them through it?
Mm-hmm. Ask lots of questions. Come to the court, and we can't, the courts can't give you legal advice, but we can get you to the right paperwork. We can get you to the right information that'll help families educate themselves and be guided. And we're willing to help people. I mean, I don't know how many times I've sat down with different people and explained, these different forms. Maybe not in probate court, but sometimes people come to our office with PPO forms, and it can be overwhelming for people just to read a lot of the legalese and to work through these forms. These are emotional times and whatnot. So don't be afraid of the courts. To come and ask questions. Just go to the court and say, I don't know anything about this. Please point me in the right direction. How,
in your role as judge, would you ensure impartiality and fairness in a case like that?
So, as a judge, especially in a small community, that would be a challenge. Compartmentalize, even as a prosecutor, it's like, well, I kind of know that family. Now, if I'm interrelated or very close to a family, I would have to recuse myself and get a visiting judge for those cases that I don't think that I could parse out or be impartial to, excuse me. But for those other ones, I'm going to read the law in the way that it was written, and I'm going to interpret it that way as well, and hopefully to get to the best outcome. For me, again, it's always, you're always going to have some emotions in the court, especially family law when you have divorce cases or child custody cases. And so I think it's important in the court to set the tone early and make sure that everybody understands that this is not the place to fight. This is the place that we're going to try and take care of business and hopefully move your family in a direction that is positive, whether it be the exact direction that person likes or not. I would expect the court to have a nice formal manner and demeanor when you're in court.
Great. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about your candidacy? Or, where can they find more information about you? Anything like that?
Yeah. I just encourage everybody to get out and vote. And you can find more information about me on EgelerForJudge.com, and that's the number 4. So, and then you can go to the same Egeler for Judge Facebook page. You can see a lot of the events we went to on Facebook, and there's more information regarding my candidacy and what my initiatives are.
Yeah, it seems like you've been very active. You've been getting out in the community a lot, David, trying to talk to people and meet voters.
That's been my favorite part of all of this. I've met so many different unique people, from Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and that's how I got kind of hooked up with you guys. I think it's important. I think that the role of any public official is to be involved and really try and understand the issues that are presented in our public. And you can't do that if you're not connecting with the public. And so, yeah, it's been wonderful.
Well, David, we're coming down to the wire. The election
Yeah.
day is quickly approaching, so we want to wish you good luck and thank you for joining us on WUWU, the morning show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and you guys have a great rest of your day.